What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Salesforce Marketing Cloud Minute Admin podcast. And this is the number one Salesforce Marketing Cloud podcast in the world. I'm going to keep saying it because it is. And even if it's not right now, it's going to become it. So, your host, Kalen Moss, Therian Thacker.
Hey.
And today we have exploring diagram best practices. I'm going to go ahead. Actually, Triple T, do you want to share your screen and talk through?
Absolutely. Hold on. Let me get it set up here. Okay, you let me know if you can see.
I see it. Let's do it.
So, everybody, this is why I want everybody to go and do this trailhead as soon as you can. Salesforce, and I know that not everybody has a Lucidchart account, but it also gives you a Google option, which is free. So we can decipher the paid account that to be honest with you, a lot of companies actually have Lucidchart licenses. I just want to preface this before we dive in. But Salesforce has been amazing enough to also give us a Google version of the same thing. I have not tested Senso Google version because I'm in live production right now and I'm using Lucidchart. I just want to throw that out there. So let me tell you about how important this is for you. Not just as an admin, an email specialist, but just as a part of growing yourself in Salesforce. Okay, you want to know how to break down the things you talk about every day into even a high level blueprint for your audience. Let's say you're an admin that's integrating a new tool into the system, right? And they ask you, they go, hey, do you have a flow chart for this integration, this implementation, the risk, what it's going to take, blah, 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 blah. Here's where we are. So even though you might not be using this today, tomorrow, this year, this is this trailhead that I found is absolutely amazing. Not even going to fit. So let's dive into it here. So first of all, let's explain the value of visual communication, which I kind of explained to you. You need to be able to share 100% visibility into what you're doing in your job so everybody else outside of your bubble can understand that. So that's a key part. If you're a part of a project team, or if you're just an implementation and integration expert, or if you're just an admin that's rolling out Slack, maybe they'll still want a diagram like this. They'll want a diagram like this, a use case and a risk scenario. So let's go through this. So as we unlock, okay, so I feel like these facts right here are absolutely amazing. 83% of human comprehension occurs visually. Okay. This means you're more likely to get your point across with a well-developed diagram. The human brain can process images 6,000 times faster than words. This means a well-crafted diagram can also help speed up the adoption of your pitch, your proposal, or your part in your project, right? So visual aids increase retention from 10 to 65%. So you want to make a lasting impression with your team. That diagram will help you, because when you're sitting in front of a stakeholder, you can't have it be like an electrical blueprint. You got to have some color in there, some big words, some direction on the diagram you're showing where they can easily follow it with their eyes. I mean, we can go back to being kids and playing with a train set where we knew the train was supposed to go one direction, right? Well, your diagram should work the same way, and it should be very identifiable. So building quality diagrams with Lucidchart: clarity, consistency, contrast. These are our 3 C's. Okay. I had to learn these 3 C's in the past 48 hours. So these 3 C's are so important. They're so important when we're conveying, they say complex, but for a lot of people, let's just call it what it is. People think sometimes what we do is just magic. They're like, you push them buttons and you do your thing and it's a boom, you got it, But what we're really doing is we're conveying that magic to clearly explain what we're doing as technical experts. Okay. And we need to make sure that diagram is specific to our audience. Okay. Maybe the first group we roll it out to, they're nothing but C-suite. They're nothing but stakeholders. So we want lots of color, big words, giant arrows. And we want to easily break down the process, not get too far into the details, just enough for them to understand the data comes in here. It does this. This is how we succeed. And this is how we get the return on investment. Okay. That's really the basic pattern of that. Well, let's say we're talking to other infrastructure teams. Okay. So that would be like a level 2 diagram where there's a little bit more technical input here. Like this arrow only travels this way. If this arrow isn't fulfilled at this spot, then this doesn't happen. So you're starting to add more technical criteria into that level 2 diagram. So what do we want to know here? We know specific to the audience. Can the viewer easily understand the purpose? Is it clear where the viewer should look first? Right? When we play Monopoly, what do we look for? The starting line, the big green starting line, right? Hey, this is where we start, let's go. Is it clear where the viewer should look? Do they know where to go from that starting point? I said giant arrows. Can they read the text on the page? We have plenty of zooming functions, but we can also basically put in cards into our diagram that have nice bold text on them that say each layer or level that we're going through. And then are the shapes, lines, and colors understandable? This is, I didn't understand this at first and why they put this as the last bullet point, but I think this is one of the most important bullet points. When you're using Google, you're using Lucidchart, Salesforce has allowed us to use not only their color patterns, not only their cards that they use on their diagrams, they've allowed us to use all of their industry style logos, the cloud, database, little database tower, every single toolkit or shape or thing. Now we can drag onto our spreadsheet. And is that not the most identifiable thing next to a triangle or a square? I mean, honestly. When you take just your normal flow chart that's triangles, squares, just very, very rudimentary to a normal person, and you replace those with Salesforce icons, they're like, oh, I got you. Like, I see exactly where I know that cloud. Oh, I know that symbol in my area that I work in. I'm a health cloud guy, so I know exactly what you're talking about as this information comes through. So that's an amazing part. So let's look at some of the, and this is why I really love this trailhead. So achieve consistency. When it comes to visual communication and interpretation, humans are constantly looking for patterns. So why is that? Patterns are important because they offer visual clues to an underlying order and allow us to quickly analyze the situation to understand how it works. This can enable teams to quickly assess issues and start asking the right questions. Once again, identifiable shapes, symbols, flow, and consistency. I mean, if there's an area where you have data flowing in and then dedupe data going out to a trash can, explain that area, stretch it out. Don't turn it into a bird's nest, as we would call it in fishing as well, which is when all your line balls up into a ball and you can never get it untangled. You just have to cut it. So it looks like a bird's nest where, everything's just wrapped into itself. Spread that out for your viewer so they can really see where the data is flowing, what the decision might be to repopulate data to another area or end data at that flow, whatever it might be in your diagram. So a symmetrical system is essentially a balance system. A radial system starts in the center and builds out as it moves out, basically. An upward spiral can translate to growth, while a downward spiral points to the devolving. Redundancy in the grid pattern makes it easy to manage and understand. And all of these are great visual cues, because when we're looking at this trailhead, what's the most attractive part about this trailhead? What's the part that brings our eyes in? These images, they're absolutely gorgeous, right? Symmetrical, radial, right? Spiral up or down, and then redundancy and grid pattern right here. And it's to our eyes, it just drags us right in, right? So use contrast to call out an element. You want a color or a contrast in your design to instantly take that attention and go, what was that? What did I miss there? Hold on a second. This is important. So you don't want it to all just be the same. While it makes sense to us as we build it because we spent so much time doing it, remember what it's going to look like to the viewer, right? Enough. Hey, enough. Thank you. And so let's just dive into the next module here. Let's see here. Hold on, let me back up since I've already finished. Okay. So you have your Lucidchart account creation. You can also do Google. I just want to let you know again. You set a user. Okay, so here we go. This is the first map. This is what I want to assign to everybody as they're stepping into their Salesforce role as their first homework assignment. Is go to this trailhead, build your very first business capability map. Okay. And this can be for anything. Let's say you're implementing Advertising Studio. Let's say you're implementing Einstein GPT. Let's say you're implementing Marketing Cloud. Let's say you're implementing Slack. Let's say you're adding any kind of new tool to the business that you need to break down and explain. This is a great exercise. So you go into this diagram, right? And in this diagram, you have drivers, okay? And each one of these drivers below are basically the benefit of adding this to the system. And then below that driver, you list out the capabilities of each one of those. All right. So let's say, for example, Salesforce, we're implementing Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Okay. And the customer has given you a scope of work to cover certain things. And what you know about these things is you need an email studio. You need Journey Builder. You definitely are going to need reports and analytics. You're definitely going to need, you name what is base for you. And then underneath of that, you show them the capabilities of each one of these things. So this is our first high level view, of what you're going to be presenting to the next level, right? Or the infrastructure teams. So this is a great exercise for everybody to do. It's not just a thing to like, hey, maybe I never work in a project, but this is a great way for you to break down what you're doing and tell people about the capabilities of each tool that you're about to implement or you're using today. And the way that this looks right here, when you download this, you have all of these tools, all of the symbols, the header, you add your own company header up at the top left. It gives you everything you need. It teaches you how to actually use the diagram. It's an amazing tool. And I want everybody to do the trailhead. I'm trying to wrap this up for our Friday. But as we're in here, we go back to the 3 C's before we finish up this chapter. So clarity, this is our goal, right? This is what we're doing. Consistency, this is how we're going to do it. Okay.
Can you zoom in a little bit?
I'm on Mac, so you're going to have to help me out.
Pinch your fingers on the mouse pad. Just zoom in.
I got you.
The whole, yeah, there you go.
Okay, so clarity. Okay, hold on. Let me get up here at the top. So number 1, clarity. Bigger size of the title font indicates where we start, right? This is our directive. This is what I want everybody to focus on first. Okay, and then we come down to 2. Add shapes, right? We're adding shapes here to break up that board. Right? We're breaking up that board. Okay. Now that we've covered our directive, let's break up the board here. And let me show you how we're going to achieve that directive. Okay. Once we achieve that directive, we come down to our symmetrical columns. And this is all about design right now, not about what's in there. I keep mixing those two together. I apologize, but this part is about design. So we have our symmetrical columns. So we've talked about, this is how we're going to do it. These are the capabilities we are going to have in our toolbox once this is complete. Okay. And that's what we're going to put in these categories right here in this symmetrical column. You might only have one column. Maybe you're only integrating Slack into your Marketing Cloud solution, right? And you're like, hey, this is what we can do with Slack. And you just use one column and one business driver and one reason. And that's all you need. So this is however you need to use it. But let me tell you what, you take this to a meeting and you share your screen and you go, let me start with this first. And you drop this on them, everybody's going to be impressed. Everybody's going to be impressed. Yeah, absolutely. And as you go through this unit, you'll start to learn about level 2. And level 2 is just it's just the next breakdown of what we've just built here in an even more beautiful chart. So be excited about it, because I am pumped about it. It's because it really is. It's great for anything. I mean, even if you're just explaining a solution to an issue that's been in your environment, this is a great way to do it. And Salesforce, and you don't even have to use this pre-made built grid here, right here, because all of this you can use pre-made, or they'll give you the tools to build it out yourself, or you can just build your own and incorporate the tools that they've given you. So you can just start off with a blank sheet if you want to. But I kid you not, go ahead, Caitlin.
This is like you said, this right here, showing this to a stakeholder, showing this to your team, or showing this to your manager. Like, you're going to be coming so far ahead above the game, the rest of everybody else that's ever shown any sort of, here's what we want to do sort of diagram. If you come with something like this, everybody, and this is from speaking from personal experience, not even with implementing. I remember when we were implementing something completely different than, just like building out a marketing cloud solution. It was more of like a game plan that I was building out for how to get somebody prepared for something. And honestly, if you can show these visuals, man, like you said, you're going to blow everybody away. Everybody.
Let me show you.
The link, this. By the way, everybody, the link to what Therian was just sharing, that is in the chat, by the way, also. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Here you go. So as you build up your skills, this is what we already have in the library for us to help. So depending on your area, communications cloud. What's that?
Zoom in a little.
Yep.
There we go. See that better. Yeah.
So customer 360 data models, customer model overview, utilization management, automotive cloud. And then you come down here. These are going to be where you start. Okay. These are great places to start to practice. Okay. These areas right here, the business capability map, especially, it's a great level 1 map to start with before you dive into the other stuff.
Yes, sir. I love it. Thank you, Triple T.
Absolutely.
This is the next step for anybody who wants to learn how to diagram. And I think we lost Triple T. Not sure what happened here, but that is Salesforce diagramming at its finest. That's going to be all we've got for you today. Let us know in the chat what you want to hear from us next week. We're going to be coming back, giving you what you want to hear. We want to start hearing more from you. So that is all we've got for you. Triple T, I'm going to give you a call if you are trying to get back in. We're going to call it good. And enjoy your Friday, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. And that's all we got for you. Kalen Moss, and on behalf of Triple T, is just doing my outro. Thank you, Triple T.
Absolutely. Happy Friday, everybody. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here, Josh, Adora. Absolutely. Have a great weekend.
Yes. Thank you, Adora. Thank you, Josh.
Yep.
Enjoy your weekend. Minute Admin out, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Have a good one.
See ya.
Later.